Today we're going to find out about the all-new Radial Flyer Flex.
All right guys, welcome to my channel today. Today we're going to take a look at this Radial Flyer. This is the Flex. This is a downsized cargo bike. So they're calling this thing a utility vehicle. This is a very nice bike. This thing has things that I've never seen on a bike before. This thing has self-canceling directionals on it. I've never seen a bike with self-canceling directionals. This thing has a lot going for it. This thing also has a spring so that a lot of these cargo bikes, that the handlebars can flip around. They're flipping all over the place, but they got a spring on this so it keeps the thing in line, you know, so it doesn't go flying all over the place. It's got mud flaps on the back of the fenders. Like I said, this thing has crazy nice stuff on it. It has techno brakes on it, which I like techno brakes a lot. I put techno brakes on a lot of my bikes when I change out the brakes. I've never had a problem with them. So we got hydraulic techno brakes on this with 180 rotors on this thing. We've got this beautiful basket on the back with this little material on it. They sent me this extra nice. I like it a lot. The rack on this thing is a heavy duty rack. You could put a kid seat on this thing. You could do a lot with this bike. The battery on this thing is a 10 amp hour battery. It's 9.8, something like that, but it's a 10 amp hour battery, let's call it. And they are going to have a bigger battery available. You can order it on pre-order. Not quite sure how big the battery is. I think it's double, so maybe it's a 20 amp hour battery or something like that. This bike is governed at 20 miles an hour, so this thing is a true Class 2 bike. And from what I understand, you can't override it. There is an app for this bike, so there's many things you can do with the app on it. This has a color display. It has directionals, which are self-canceling. Like I said, there's also indicators on it. We have an LED light in the front. We have a LED brake light, a LED running light. You've got LED directionals in the back. This bike, like I said, has got a lot going for it, guys. So you got Well-Go pedals on it. You've got a 56 tooth chainring on it. They have, they're 14 by 28 gears, I think, in the back of this thing. So you're going to be able to pedal this thing pretty good. So it's only got a 500 watt motor. I'm sure it peaks higher than that, but I have not seen any, it does, a lot of them, they'll say it's a 500 watt motor, peaks at 800 or whatever, but it does not say that on the website. I was looking, but it has a 500 watt motor. I've driven this thing around and it goes pretty good. So I don't think that's an issue, especially where you've got that you know, 20 mile an hour speed limit on this thing. So I think it's plenty of motor for what the bike is. So it's a cargo bike. So it's you know, you don't want to go 28 miles an hour on a cargo bike. You do not have a suspension on the front of this thing. A lot of cargo bikes do not have suspension on them, but it's got a 24-inch tire on the front and rim, and a 20-inch on the back, and we're looking at like 2.5-inch tires on this bike, so you've got some bounce to that. You could always put a suspension seat post on this thing if you wanted to get some suspension to it. Those are available for, you know, relatively cheap money, but all in all, the seat's comfortable, it rides nice. I don't have any problems with that. You've got bottle bosses here, bottle bosses here. You've also got them up on the fork, which is, I've never seen them, but if you want to take a lot of water with you, you could put them up there. I'm sure you could use those for other things too. Anything that you can attach to a bottle boss, you can attach up on the forks if you wanted to. So this thing has a big center kickstand on it so that you can put kids on it. You don't have to worry about the bike tipping from side to side. You can put the kids on it. You don't have to worry about it. And then when you go, it just goes like that, and the kickstand goes up. And again, to put it down, goes like that. You've got kind of BMX style bars on it, which I like. I like them better than the flat bars, so it gives you some adjustment up so that you're not leaning over. And you can also roll them back. So if you're a shorter rider, you can make the handlebars come back. That's nice also. Nice cable management on this thing. You've got a thumb throttle on this thing. You've got hydraulic brakes, like I said, very good ones. You've got a 7-speed shifter on this thing, and this is a trigger shifter on this thing. Again, that's an upgrade. You got a bell that came with this thing, your hand grips, a locking, very nice. Everything about this bike is super high quality, guys. So it's an impressive bike. It really was. I got this thing out of the box, and I went up and told my wife, I said, there's so much stuff on this bike, I can't believe it. So very nice, guys. So let's take an in-depth look at this thing. We'll get right on it, and I'll explain the whole thing to you, and then we'll take it out for a ride. So let's get to it. Guys, let's take a look at this Radial Flyer. We're going to take a closer look at this thing. Let's start out with the seat on this thing. This thing has a handle on the back, makes it easier to move the bike around. You've got adjustment on the seat. This thing will go up to this height. You got your battery here. This battery will come right out with the key. So this thing's got a handle on it, so you can walk around with it. You got your key in the side. Very nice battery. This on the top of the battery, so you can hit this here and see how many lights you got on it. Again, the keys on the side of this thing. The basket on this thing is incredible. It's got this piece here. You've got tail light. You've got directionals in this tail light, so you get directionals on both sides, plus the stop light. Fender, little mud flap. These things are plastic fenders, so they're not going to make a bunch of noise. You've got protectors so that if you have kids on the back, they're not going to put their feet into it. This also is going to protect it also. You have a Tourney 7-speed derailleur on here. Very, very nice. Again, the tire is a 2.4 by 20 on the rear.
For a factory chainring, this is pretty impressive. This is a 56-tooth chainring. I've never seen one this big on a factory bike. You've got Welgo plastic pedals on this thing, and they're very good, nice. This rack on this bike, I don't know what it's rated for, but I'm sure it's pretty high. It's super heavy duty. This is also a UL certified bike. I've never seen a UL certified bike. Very nice.
This is a Class 2 bike right here, 20 miles an hour, and it's not unlockable as far as I know. So Class 2, an unlockable bike. You got your warning label here. You've got bottle bosses right here, so you can put your water bottle on.
Here's another little feature you don't find on many bikes. This is a dampening spring so that the forks don't spin all the way around when you don't want them to.
Beautiful handles up here. Again, they're locking handles. You've got hydraulic brakes on this thing, and they're Techno.
We also have a Shimano 7-speed trigger shifter on this bike, so very nice, guys. And you've also got a
bell also on this thing. You got like BMX bars on this thing. I like the BMX bars a lot as compared to some bikes that don't come with it. You have an adjustable head here. This thing can go up and down. You got your screen here. Awesome screen, guys. We're going to turn this thing on so you can take a look at it. Again, you've got all this here going on. You can turn the headlight on and off. You get the headlight showing up there on the thing, and as you turn, it can go from side to side. You've got your throttle here. So beautiful display on this. It displays what your battery is, your mileage, flyer, and your passes are right here. So you can up your passes by going up. It'll go to 4 and back down again. Well, watch this, guys. You got directionals right here. Unbelievable, huh? And they're self-canceling. It'll do it all by itself. So again, you got one on this side here, and it flashes.
And you've got a very nice headlight on this, which is a double LED beam, which is very bright. I will show you later on. We got Techno brakes and a thumb throttle on this guy. So you press this down and the bike will take off, so long as you're in pass 1. If you pull this off, you can put a basket on it. The basket is available on their website, so check it out if that's something that you're interested in. And this bike has bosses on the front fork on both sides. I've never seen this before, but you could carry extra water bottles, or maybe they have some sort of an accessory that fits up here. Not sure. You've got a center kickstand on this. This is very stable when you're putting kids on the back, and it's something you definitely want on a cargo bike. You've got Kenda tires on this with K-Shield in it, which is puncture resistant.
You've got a street pattern on this tire. Very nice tire. You've got cable management on this thing, very nice. Goes down into the frame. So you've got this thing goes down into the frame here, and you don't have to see the wires.
Let's take a look at the brakes on this. You got a 180 millimeter rotor. You've got a 500 watt motor hiding in there. You've got your caliper hiding up in there. And on the front here, you can see it 180 millimeter rotor, your Techno caliper sitting here. Very nice brakes, guys. You got a through axle in there also. You got the hydraulic hose is nicely run up the fork here, as you can see. The welds on this bike are really nice. No matter where you look on it, they've got nice strong welds. You've got this bar here that's put there so it takes the wobble out of the frame. You've also got the step over height of 18.5 inches. All right, let's take this bike for a ride.
This bike is pretty nice, guys. This thing is a utility bike, so it's not a cargo bike, but it has quite a bit of room on it, so they call it a utility bike. This has a torque sensor in it. I threw a mirror on it because I was out earlier test driving a bike with no mirror. It was driving me crazy. So this bike has a smaller battery on it. I believe it's a 10 amp hour, but this trigger shifter on it, which is nice. Just the torque sensor alone, and it's pretty wild. I think I could actually put this thing up into 4, which is the highest pass it goes into. And it's really not going to affect it because it's all in how much I pedal. And this thing has a huge crank on it too. I mean, I can go, see what this is a 20 mile an hour bike. It doesn't go over that. I mean, unless you're pedaling it, the motor cuts out at 20. Because it's somewhat of a cargo bike, so they want you to, you know, not go crazy fast with the thing. We got street tires on this, but this thing is very nimble. Feels really good to ride. Battery says 95%. Every time I charge it, it only goes to 95%. So I think 95% is full. So we've got no suspension on this bike. But so far, I haven't even noticed that. I was out on a bike today with full suspension, well, not full, with a front shock on it, and I haven't noticed a difference between this one, but the other one I was on had a small skinny tire on it. So yeah, this is I think a bike that I'm probably going to drop into the highest pass because the torque sensor works so well on it that if I want to increase speed, I just got to push down on it a little bit. If I want to slow down, I just slow down and pedaling. I love torque sensors. And more of these bikes are coming out with it, and I think it's great. This one here, though, we're going to get some exercise on this because it really wants you to press on those pedals to get it going. I think we'll go over here and hit the rail trail for a second. Well, the gate's open today. This thing goes right down a rail trail, no problem, that's for sure. So this thing feels really good on the rail trail. Considering there's no suspension on it, it's weird because it does feel really good. We've got a 24-inch tire on the front and a 20 on the rear. It's got a small battery, like I said, but I don't know. It's probably pretty efficient with this torque sensor. I'll tell you, the seat on this is very comfortable. I was on another bike earlier today, and the seat wasn't as comfortable as this one. I would still probably switch it out to my favorite seat. And I'm pretty sure this bike's going to be a keeper. We're going to hit the road for a while. Down to 92. Considering we started at 95, that's not bad. And let's see how we can pull up and figure out how this thing works. Okay, we come 2.6 miles. Very comfortable. Maybe thinking the bars maybe rolled back a little bit more towards me, but not bad for guessing at it right now. Let's try on throttle, see what we get out of throttle. Throttle is going to bring us to 20 miles an hour, exactly 20. And 20 also pedaling. Now you can feel the motor cut right out on the 20. All right, we got a good straight section here, so let's bring this down to pass 1. First I'm going to try pedaling this thing. Yeah, feels like you pedal on an e-bike. This ain't no light bike either, so. But we'll give it pass 1 and we'll see. Let's try the throttle, see if the throttle still goes to 20. Yeah, the throttle is going to go right up to 20. So pass 1, rotating. See, I can go as slow as I want, but let's see if it cuts out. It feels like, I don't know, 7, 8 miles an hour. It's not giving me any. So I would say this thing goes to about 7.5 to 8 miles an hour. And that's what it's giving you for assistance in 1. So we'll hit 2 here. We are slightly going up a hill too. But 2, I can feel it now. I'm getting a little bit more speed out of it. We're up to 11, 12, 13, 14. I still feel like it's helping me at 15, 16. So I'm at 17 and a half. If I pedal harder, it still wants to go. So see what happens in 3. So 3 is definitely picking up the speed with a little less effort from me. I'm up to 20 in 3, and then it cuts out. So what it's doing is it's giving me more assist as I go up, but it's not limiting my speed. So it seems like only in 1 does it limit my speed. Tell you, with this big 24-inch wheel on this thing, it handles really, really nice. Somebody told me they didn't like the way the big wheels handle on the front. Not on this particular bike, but they had another bike. And the brakes lock right up. So I expect that from Techno though, for sure. This thing is geared perfectly for the speed. If this was a 28 mile an hour bike, you'd be ghost pedaling. But for the 20 mile an hour bike that it is, it's perfect. I'll tell you one thing, you know, last year I had a lot of Candace sensor bikes. Now I'm getting a lot of torque sensor bikes, so definitely going to get stronger legs for sure, because if you don't want to pedal, you don't want a torque sensor bike. Just remember that. Unless you're going to hit the throttle, then it really doesn't matter, because I can throttle this bike no problem. On the throttle now, going right along. It's a piece of cake. Not putting any effort in myself. So, but I'll tell you, we're at 16.5 miles an hour. I'm showing you what I'm pedaling, and it's not bad at all. So, no ghost pedaling with this bike up to the 20 mile an hour range. So, what don't I like about this bike? I would prefer if it did 28 miles an hour, but I understand why they don't do that. And it only has a 500 watt motor on it, but that doesn't seem to affect this bike at all. I'm telling you, I don't know the difference riding this bike that it has a 500 watt motor on it. But maybe I would if it went to 28 miles an hour. But the way they have this thing designed, you do not need that 750 watt motor. In turn, it's going to give you some more range on a smaller battery, so it feels good. I mean, I'm impressed with the way this thing's riding out. The step through is very comfortable. I'm kind of liking step throughs. So I was out earlier on a step through, and I'm like, wow, I kind of miss my step throughs. So we are at 7 miles, 7.3 miles. And we're down to 71% of the battery, but it only started at 95. Again, 500 watt motor, but it is going to give you increased range because it is a smaller motor. So I've got my glasses on and they tint. I was on the bike earlier today and it was hard to see the screen, but I have no problem seeing the screen on this bike. So they did a good job with this screen. I've never seen this screen before on any other bike either. Show you the screen here. By zooming in on it, you can see the light here. Again, the directionals, you hit them, they go on like that, and then they'll cancel out as soon as it hits, I don't know, probably less than 30 seconds. So there's the one for that side. It says flyer on it, nice, I like that. Shows you the light down there. Your percentage, it's a nice color, I like it. And you got your pass levels here. And like I said, it only goes to 4. So yeah, good light, very good light. let's, you know what? While we're in here, let's check out the directionals on the back of the bike. That's the light on it now. And we'll hit the directionals on it. So that's what you get for the directional. Very good. And that's the one for that side. You definitely can be seen with that, that's for sure. And it cancels out, so you don't have to worry about forgetting it. This thing glides really nice too. I mean, it's just a nice tight bike. Probably got good quality bearings in it too, so. Like I said, everything on this thing, they didn't cheap out, so that's why you're paying a little bit more money for it. I believe this bike is $2,100 with the battery that's on it, and I believe it'll be $23 with the larger battery on it when they have them. So as far as a cargo bike goes, it's a little on the expensive side, but again, it's got higher quality components in it. I mean, that's what drives the bikes up. So so this thing will do all of 20 miles with, on the highest pass, with me driving the way I am in New Hampshire, dealing with hills and all that stuff. So an easy 20 miles out of this. And if you drop the pass on it, you could probably get 30 miles, or, you know, it depends on how much you want to pedal. And if you lived in a flat area, I'm sure this thing would do 50 plus. We have our killer hill. I'm gonna hit the killer hill and see how this bike does on it. But being a torque sensor, a lot of it's gonna be up to me too, but we could try throttle on it also. Best bike that ever climbed this hill was that dual motor bike I had. That flew up this hill. So I am in fifth gear, doing 14 miles an hour. And we're slowing down a little bit because the hill is getting steeper here. So I'm gonna knock it down into 4. And we're maintaining about 10 and a half. I think I could do this all the way up the hill. I'm at 11 now. I'm gonna drop it down to 2 and see if it does any different. It makes it so I can pedal easier, but it did drop down to 10. But I don't have to pedal that hard. So yeah, this thing is a piece of cake coming up this hill with a 500 watt motor on it. We will make the loop here and I'll see if it can throttle up the hill. So this is downhill from here, and the bike I was on earlier that I did this, I was doing 28 miles an hour, coasting. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 miles an hour, guys. Almost 31, but I got a stop sign here, so. Got to remember on a torque sensor bike too, shift your gears down. All right, we're going to try throttling it. 15 miles an hour, almost 16, dropping down 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 'It's doing it though. 8.5 miles an hour, and it's gonna do it all the way up. I'm actually gonna help it so that I don't want to kill the thing. But yeah, this is at least a 12-degree hill, if not more, so I think it's more. But no problem when I'm pedaling a little bit here. I've got it down into 4th gear and going right along. We did knock it down to 48%. Always trying to find my wife a bike that fits her good. They all seem to be a little bit too big. The nice thing about this manufacturer is the fact that they sell different frame sizes. So that's a big plus too, guys. And it costs money to do that. When you're doing cookie cutter frames, it's cheaper. You can order, 500 frames, and they're all the same, and you get a better price on them. So when you only order 250 because you want to offer different sizes, the price goes up. See what this hill. This is a 12-degree hill we're about to go up, and let's see if we can do it on throttle. With 8% left. 7%. It's going up on throttle though, at 7%. No speed records, but it is going, and it's picking up speed now. So yeah, this thing would make it up this hill on throttle for sure. Because we're almost up. And we're down to 6% on the battery. And I'm going to throttle it the rest of the way because I'm curious to see how low this will go. And I also want to see after if it recovers some. We're at 3% on the battery. I do believe we will make 21. At 20.7 now. We have this hill to go up though, so I will pedal up at this time. We're at 2%. And I am definitely, it will still go up on throttle though, amazingly enough. We are down to 1%. I just want to see what happens when it goes to 0. And we are at 21 miles. I'm going to, and it says the range is 0, low. Voltage is down to 41.3. The odometer is 21 miles, even though it's 21.4. Nice little bike.
All right, guys, so that's our look at the Radial Flyer Flex. So this is a very nice bike. Got a lot of nice stuff on this thing. Again, if it's something you're looking for, then great. If not, maybe you want something bigger. They also make a larger cargo bike. But this is a nice bike if you had just one child and you weren't trying to carry two. And you could put that kid carrier on the back of this thing and it would be perfect. So again, I like this bike a lot. I think it's something that is super solid. People are going to get a long time out of this.
All right, guys, we got the Radial Flyer here. Let's get this thing opened up and check it on out. So let's see what they got for us here. So these are what's in the bottom of this thing. You squeeze this thing together here. This thing opens right up. And again, squeeze them and they come right out of there. I've had these on some other bikes too. They work great and they're a good way to take them apart. So we're going to now lift the top of this box off. We've got a box, it's got the pedals in it, it's got the instructions inside. We'll set this aside for now. This is the center kickstand for this. We're not going to tighten that up yet because we are going to want to sit on it and adjust it to our liking. I'm going to tell you something else I just noticed about this bike. This is the first bike I've ever got that has the UL certification on it from UL. This is a UL certified bike, guys. It has the emblem on it, so very nice. This is top quality stuff here. So I am going to attempt to turn this bike over at this point, and we're going to continue to use this box so that I do not hurt the handlebars or anything. Little tag on this thing there that says remove this before we put the wheel on it. We're going to open up this box now so we can see what we got in it. We got pedals. We've got a light. I've never seen a light like this before. Pretty nice. Pedals are a combination of plastic and aluminum. We have a toolkit in here. We have the charger in here. And like I said, we have the toolkit in here. So let's see what's in the toolkit. We got a screwdriver. We've got Allen wrenches in here. And wrenches. Got quite a bit of stuff in here. Probably the next thing we should do is put the front fender and the light in it. We will get the light and stick the light. On these wires, when you put them together, there's 2 arrows. You got to line up the arrows, push them in, you're good to go. I'm not going to tighten that up too much yet. I will tighten these ones just in case we have to adjust the wheel on it. And we're probably going to have to adjust the headlight on it. You have to be careful putting this brake on here. Through axle goes back through it again. And that fender's way too far. That's why I didn't want to tighten it up totally. All right, we're going to have to add air to this tire. We got to put the pedals on. We got to put the kickstand in this thing. All right, guys, I am going to put some Loctite on this thing because I've had other cargo bikes before that this thing loosens up on, so we're going to put some Loctite on it. As you can see, it's down here on it, and it's a gel, and I just stuck the washers to it, but that's all right. All right, guys, we've got to put the pedals on this thing. Logo pedals are on a lot of bikes. They're good pedals. These ones are plastic and aluminum, like I said. You've got a right and a left one of these. This one's the right one, and this one's the left one, so it's marked here. All right, guys, I think we are ready to flip this bike over. So there's little plastic plugs in this to protect the threads in there. So you got to pull those out of there. Look at this. This thing comes with a little cover and everything. So I'm going to sit on this thing and see how everything feels. Probably going to roll the bars up a little bit on it. We've got hydraulic techno brakes on this thing. Very, very nice. I'm going to roll these brakes down a little bit too. Let me show you something I just noticed too. This battery's got a handle on it, pretty nice. I like that. So you can charge this on or off the bike. It's got a gauge on it. We've got 3 lights on it now. We just got to figure out how to power this thing on, which is a button on the top. It's got a 50% charge on it. It's saying very nice colored display on this thing too. We're going to do a review on this bike and everything, but I want to ride it first. I want to get to know it a little bit before I do a review on it. So we're going to put some air in the tires on this thing, and we're going to charge the battery, and we're going to get it out for a ride, guys. All right, guys, I want to thank you for watching my video today, and if you are interested in buying a bike or something, please check with my affiliate links. That helps the channel out greatly. Again, guys, hit that like and subscribe on the way out, and thank you very much for watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you.